What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV. We're gonna have a battle and I'm gonna tell you which phone is better and if you should upgrade if you have the iPhone 12 Pro Max. So obviously iPhone 12 Pro Max, iPhone 13 Pro Max. And there's some differences. And we're gonna go through the staple of things that you would wanna know. Look, feel in your hand, speakers, display, the high refresh rate now on the 13 Pro Max, performance, cameras, and just talk about these phones. So, just feeling these in your hand, I mean, without a doubt, the iPhone 13 Pro Max is heavier, without a doubt. You can feel the heaviness. I'm used to a heavy phone, so it doesn't really bother me, but if you want something lighter, you're gonna want this. If you want something heavier, you're gonna want the iPhone 13 Pro Max. But with the weight also comes bigger battery and just better battery life overall. So without a doubt, if you need better battery life, you're gonna wanna get the iPhone 13 Pro Max. It's gonna have way better battery life. Also, you can see the cameras are a lot bigger for the most part on the 13 Pro Max, just physically bigger. And when we get into the camera test, just on the little testing I've done, you can tell the difference. The cameras on the iPhone 13 Pro Max, which is this white silverish one, do look better and they get better lighting and everything. So, you know, with better battery and better cameras overall, you're gonna wanna go with this phone. But again, I'll show you the testing that I did. Otherwise, the phones look eerily similar to what you would expect with pretty much any other, you know, phone for the most part. So over, you'll see right here, you got your power button, nothing at the top. On the left hand side, you got your mute switch, you got your volume keys, you got your SIM card slot, and at the bottom you get lightning on both and stereo speakers. So neither of these have fingerprint sensors, but they obviously have Face ID. Face ID works fantastic on both of these phones. I'll show you real quick. There you go, unlocked. Lock them again. There you go, locked. I mean, they're basically exactly the same. I don't notice any difference with one being faster or slower with the Face ID. Next, we'll do a little music test, speaker test. We have the iPhone 13 Pro Max right here and the iPhone 12 Pro Max right here. So we'll play the same song on each. Just a blind air test. Nothing's popping out so far. I will see when I edit it. If I notice a difference, we'll jump to another song. This one, the 13 Pro Max sounds bassier and louder. To me, anyway. Yeah, it's got more punch to it, at least seemingly on these tests. We'll try another one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the iPhone 13 Pro Max with the better sound. Better bass, slightly better volume. These sound a little bit more trebly, a little less low end. I like the speakers better on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Let's talk about the displays on these. Just looking at these side by side in a normal environment, I'll be honest, I don't really notice much of a difference at all just looking at these displays. The color temperatures look very, very similar to me. The quality of the display looks very, very similar to me. I don't really notice much of anything on here in terms of differences. Let's open up Instagram. So we got a photo right here. Let's just zoom in on both of these. Whoops, that went weird. Yeah, I don't know if I noticed much difference. This looks a little whiter. It's very tough to see any difference. I know Instagram's not the be-all end-all of quality of photos because it downgrades the quality. But I mean, just again, overall, if I think you put these side by side, you wouldn't notice a difference. Now, I will say the refresh rate, it does feel smoother on the 13 Pro Max when you're doing certain things in here, like, you know, swiping up to go home. That feels smoother. But again, you have to really, you probably won't even see it on the video, but it does feel smoother. And I wouldn't say it's because of the, you know, the A15 processor versus the A14 and the Pro Max and the 12 Pro Max. It's the 120 hertz when it does it, because it's not always 120 hertz, and it doesn't do it in third-party apps. But you do feel it when you're, you know, on here sometimes, depending upon what you're doing. It just feels, it's just certain times. It doesn't feel it all the time, but when it does, you can tell that it's smoother. So it is something to know. Oh, another thing today to notice is that you can see the difference in the notch. The notch is smaller on the 13 Pro Max versus the 12 Pro Max. And I'll just hold these like this. You can probably see it better, seeing how much smaller it is. So it is a much smaller notch. I know a lot of people are going to hate on the notch, saying, oh, I hate the notch, you know, it's so crazy. But I mean, you got to figure the notch has a reason to it. And that reason is that it helps with Face ID. Face ID is built into that, and you get Face ID on that. And one thing I want to say about Face ID is I actually like it. I do like it better than their fingerprint sensor on the iPad mini that I have to use. I wish that had it. I'm so used to having it when I use it when I use an iPhone or an iPad Pro, and not having it built into the new iPad mini. It's a little bit of a hindrance, I would have to say. But overall, you know, that, like I said earlier, that Face ID works perfectly fine, even though this is smaller and this is bigger. It all works the same. And then, like I said, the 120 hertz refresh rate, you can feel a difference at times on here. You don't feel it all the time, but when you do, it just feels it just feels smoother. And the iPhones are already pretty smooth anyway, and it just adds to that smoothness and the speed overall. Speaking of performance, let's open a few apps here and check out what we think is the faster phone. All right, so I have all my apps closed. It takes forever because you can't close all your apps. So no apps open. Let's just open the apps at the same time here, see which ones open faster, if any. So we'll open up YouTube here. We got YouTube 1, 2, 3. We'll open up YouTube, see which one opens up faster. Looks like the 12 Pro Max actually loaded it up faster. They both have the most updated software on both of them as well. So if you are going to throw that in there, you don't even bother throwing it in. Let's open up eBay. Again, the 12 Pro Max doing it faster. Target. It's pretty close. Maybe it's pretty close. Let's open up Amazon. Yeah, it's pretty close. And again, this isn't, again, these kind of tests aren't super be-all end-alls of testing. Let me close that because I didn't open that time when I hit it. 12 Pro Max opening up faster, which is kind of funny. We'll open up a game here. We'll do Survival Z, see which one opens faster. We got the 12 Pro Max here on the right. Oh, so far it looks like the 13 Pro Max is opening up a little bit faster. Oh, that wasn't already set there. I think the 12, no, 13 Pro Max won. Do another game here. We'll do Rayman. Off to the speeds they go. Oh, they look like they're dead tied. Ooh, this is close. I think they're gonna tie. Unless something, yeah, they tied pretty much. Yeah, they tied. Yeah, they tied. Nothing, we're gonna run through that. So you can see, just opening up apps, there's really not much of a difference on either one of these phones. Next, let's check out these cameras, because like I said, the cameras do show a difference on here. You got way more, the cameras are just so much bigger on the 13 Pro Max versus the 12 Pro Max, and I think I want to show you that, and just so you can see how big of a difference it is. Also, you get some different modes on here. with the iPhone 13 Pro Max, you got this new cinematic mode, which basically blurs out the background. It says more light is required. Flash may help, but basically it'll blur out. So if it's, you can see my hand, well, it's not focusing on it, but if it was, okay, so it's focusing on my hand and it blurs out that background. Whereas if I just turn it on video, I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't. Oh, you can see my background, right? But if I turn it to cinematic, it's gonna blur that background out. So you get that bokeh effect. That's basically, you can do that on the front camera as well. But with that said, let's check out some photos and videos that I did with both of these phones. And then here we go. I'm talking on the iPhone 13 Pro Max first. And I'm gonna walk in this darkness. I'm now talking on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. But you can see these two, they definitely have different color temperatures, at least from these screens that I can see. I'll be interested to see. It's fairly dark in my house right now as I shoot this. And then we'll walk into my office. Don't mind the mess. Not too bad. What do you think? So obviously this camera test isn't too crazy, and it's just showing you kind of in a regular environment. I'm in my office right now with some dimly lit lights, and you're hearing the microphone on these phones and seeing the video on these phones using the front camera, both shooting in 4K 30 frames per second. Let me know which one you think looks and sounds better. Now we're using the rear camera on these phones. Which one do you think looks the best? Again, shooting in 4K 30. This is the iPhone 13 Pro Max. This is the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Is it worth it just to upgrade in these regular conditions? If you want to watch another like bigger, video with these cameras, you can obviously search for that on YouTube, but this is kind of show you if like your mom or your dad was shooting it. So which of these is the better phone? Without a doubt, the iPhone 13 Pro Max is the better phone. Smaller notch, meaning more screen real estate. You're getting better performance, even though the app, opening up apps didn't really show that much of a difference, but you will. You get better performance. You're getting 120 hertz. You're getting better speakers. You're getting better cameras. It's heavier, but you're gonna get better battery life. There's more to like about this phone than this, but if you have the 12 Pro Max, should you upgrade to the 13 Pro Max? That's a little bit more tough. I think it's such a marginal upgrade, I think, for someone that has this phone and jumping over to this. It's probably not worth it unless you're getting a really, really good trade-in deal, or you're only paying $200 or $300. I'd say, sure, do it. But otherwise, I'd say, don't upgrade. I don't think it's worth it. But it's a really nice phone overall. Both of them are really nice phones. And if you have this one, you're probably still going to be happy. And if you jump to this, you'll probably be like, why'd I do that? Especially if I had to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars, it's just not worth it. But otherwise, if you need to upgrade, sure, grab it. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think of these phones in the comments down below. And we'll see you guys down the road. Peace.